Boys Club.
Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club Podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me, and I'll sue.
Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find them. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
I appreciate it because, like, I just love hearing different perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely.
That aren't my own. Like, I'm a fucking straight white girl. I'm the most, I mean, other than a straight white guy, which I think is a step worse than me.
Yeah, that's like the bottom of the barrel.
Like, I'm the most boring kind of person. So I want to talk to people who are like actually, because you said polyamory in one of your topics.
And I saw that your last podcast
was all about it.
Poly. Yeah.
And it's something that, like, I would absolutely never do because I just don't have I'm just too jealous. I get too jealous. But it's something that I'm very, like, fascinated by.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
At the same time.
And it's such a, like, process for people.
Such a process. Yeah. But I also think it's so great because there's so many fucking people who cheat.
Yeah.
So many. It is
unnecessary.
Wild.
Yeah.
And that's the word for it. Yeah. Unnecessary.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this to yourself. But I'm a big ethical non-monogamy gal. Like, I'm just like, I don't really want to be poly, but, like, until I find someone to be monogamous with, I would rather be ethically non-monogamous.
Yep.
Yeah, so if another dick comes around that I want, I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
So this is very exciting. So your name, Rhett, right? Am I saying that right? Rhett. Slutler?
Slutler, yeah.
I said it right. It was a lot of L's in there, and I won't lie, like, I had a speech impediment growing up, so sometimes names are tricky for me.
It's okay. When I started drag, nobody could say my name ever.
Really?
I was like Brett Stutter, Rent, like Rent Stuntler, like
wow.
And like there was one show I did a pageant, and the same person announced me 3 different ways.
Really?
And they were all wrong.
Wow. My goodness.
Yeah.
That's a process.
That was Hex.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys were here. I'm ridiculously excited for this. We are here with Rhett Slutler!
Hello!
I said it right!
Yay!
Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for coming over.
I'm so excited. I mean, I love to drink. I love to chat. So
yes. And I don't know why I didn't reach out sooner, to be honest. I'm always looking for guests, and I'm always looking for colorful people in my Facebook friends. And every now and then, though, I lack a guest, and I say, who wants to come drink for free and bare their soul on a mic? I'll give you free booze, and you obliged.
Yes, absolutely.
And also, I love that you obliged because you are a drag king.
Yeah.
Drag king?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that that's great because if anyone can be in a room in the heat with lights and, like, be okay with it, it's someone in drag.
Yeah, absolutely. This is cool compared to what I've experienced in the past, like, week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh
so.
my God. Can we talk about this year's Pride for just a second?
I didn't even make it out to the parade because I was just like, I can't. I'm like, I'm a bad gay. What do I do?
I just got like, we were in a heat wave. So here in Halifax, it was like, there was a humidex, and that was the issue, I think. So it was over 30 degrees. Like,
yeah,
but
easily.
But it felt like it was 100. Right. Like, So, and this was during the first weekend of Pride.
Yeah, first weekend was the parade. Yeah.
And so I actually walked in it with MAC Cosmetics, and like we were just dousing ourselves with water. My friend Shannon, who was like supposed to walk with me, backed out. She's like, I can't.
Yeah,
I
will die.
I'm gonna faint.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't blame you. I surprised myself. I do pretty good in heat. Like I don't get fainty.
Okay.
I just get cranky.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like a given for most people. Like once it hits like 25 degrees, everyone's just an asshole.
Everyone becomes and it's the same here in Halifax with the cold weather. I feel like it could go cold or hot. Like it's very similar.
Basically, unless it's like September or June, everyone is pissed.
Everyone's always so pissed. Thank you so much for coming on, though. This is lovely. And we are drinking something very summery. We are drinking some lemonade and vodka. Blue Lobster vodka. You suggested lemonade, and it's crazy because when I got your text, I had just got done telling my friend that I wanted to make homemade lemonade because I had it on the waterfront the other night, and I was like, I love lemonade so much. Like, it's the most refreshing, like, delicious drink. So thank you for choosing something
it's like
that
nostalgic. So when you add vodka to it, like double nostalgia.
And pink lemonade. Used to love the pink lemonade.
Also limeade.
Oh,
yeah. I definitely went through a limeade phase. With a lot of vodka or gin or really anything. Yeah.
It's so good.
I was 16.
And I like that it's not carbonated because I love me some carbonated water. I drink a lot of it. I drink a lot of bubbly. But like I like that it's just kind of water. We're getting hydrated.
Yeah.
We're getting our sugar, to stay alive. And we're getting our alcohol. It's truly the best drink.
Yeah, it's basically like a full meal.
It's a full meal. And so we also usually start with a friendship origin story. This is funny because this is the second time we've met. But we did meet once long ago.
Many years ago. Yeah.
Like,
many moons ago. Many lifetimes ago for me.
Just through a friend, and I think we just became Facebook friends and
I think we've just like followed each other since then.
Exactly. And so things are different now.
Yes. My life is slightly different than when I was like a 21-year-old university cheerleading straight girl.
Were you a cheerleader?
I cheered for 10 years. 10 fucking years of my life.
Oh my God.
That's how Steph and I became friends.
She was in cheer.
Yeah.
Got it. It's all connecting. Interesting. Holy shit. And where do you hail from? Where are you from?
I'm from Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
Yeah,
Your
Dartmouth,
whole life?
born and raised. Yeah.
Born and raised?
Well, okay, that's a lie. I was born in Kingston, Ontario. I don't usually tell people that because I hate Ontario. But
Ontariable.
Ontariable. And I moved here when I was like going into like school.
Oh, gotcha. And just stayed.
Yeah, only stayed here since then.
Yeah, nice.
I've been here for like 22 years.
And how old are you?
I'm 28 years old as of 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Almost 30. Definitely not 25 anymore.
You're getting into your return of Saturn phase.
Yeah.
Which is hell. So have fun with that.
Cool. I mean,
cool.
The last 5 years of my life have just been a walk in the park, so why not?
I know. I'm like, my return of Saturn is my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, when does it end? I don't even know. I don't know. But that's fascinating. So, okay, you grew up in Dartmouth. And take me through this whole journey with you. Because when I met you, you were a straight woman.
Yeah.
Things are different now.
Things are different. Yeah. So probably, I want to say, like when I was in high school, I kind of came out as bi at the time, but then like kind of put that to the wayside because it wasn't cool or whatever. And then when I was 21, I came out as a lesbian at the time because I actually didn't know any trans people. I had never met another trans guy ever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like even in my mind. I was like, I know I'm weird. I know I'm different. And I am also gay. So
right.
I didn't really figure that out until about 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of when I started. Like I changed my name.
Right.
And changed pronouns.
What was your name before?
I'm not going to tell you that.
No, tell me.
No.
I was trying to remember.
Off air.
I was trying to remember. Tell me off air.
Yeah.
Because I know that when you say it, I'll be like, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you got to just embrace it.
Yeah, exactly.
And leave it behind. Because obviously it was part of you that...
And that's the thing. Like, my family will still use it sometimes. I'm like, that's fine. Like, that's who I was for so long. And, you know, I've I've changed. I have a new name. I'm Charlie now, and I use he, him pronouns now. But that's been a journey, like
to get to
that point, to figure out like what it is I want and like who I want to be and what feels comfortable.
That's such, I just can't imagine. Well, I mean, because you're probably just like, I know something's different about me.
Exactly. And I've always
What the
known
heck
that.
is
Like,
it?
even from like being a child, I can remember being like, I'm a weird girl.
Yeah.
I don't fit in with other girls, or like I don't have the same like feelings about my body that other girls have. And like, yeah, I would never being able to like sort that out, but still being like a massive slut the whole time.
Were you like, what age did you discover sex or like sexuality?
I would say like 13.
Oh my gosh, yeah. See, I discovered masturbation like way younger.
Yeah.
Like
I
was
mean,
so
masturbation maybe like 11 probably, I would say, but like I wouldn't tell anybody about that. Yeah.
Such a shameful
Even like way later, like into my university years.
Yeah.
It was like still like, oh, you're a woman who masturbates? Like, why do you do that? I'm like,
I know.
dudes with penises can masturbate all they want 24/7. Everyone was like, oh, that's
and
cool.
they talk about it so openly.
Yeah. And they just like throw their hands in their pants in public and shit like that. And you're like, I can't even like talk about a period. Like,
it's
like so much shame associated.
There's
with,
so much of it.
like being a cis woman.
Yeah, truly. And I even think still it's slightly taboo. Like, we're definitely getting
there. Yeah,
we are getting there.
Leaps and bounds, but still ways to go.
There's still that sums it up right there. Yeah. We've come a long way, but there's still a very long way to go. So you were a lesbian at one point. Did you then? Because when I knew you, I think you were straight, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So did you go back to straight?
No.
Or did I meet you before the lesbian stage?
You met me, I think, probably just before the lesbian stage,
Oh,
or
okay.
perhaps like around the same time.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I was still dating men until I was like 20, 21. I came out when I was 21. Right. And I didn't date any men. I still haven't dated men, I don't think.
Good. Don't do it. It's overrated.
Yeah, I've dated some like transmasculine people, and you know, I've had my fun, but
so when
dating.
when you were straight dating guys, what were those relationships like?
Not great.
No.
Very yeah. I was very aggressive for a woman. So like, yeah, I would be told that I'm bossing my boyfriends around. And,
do this.
Yeah, or like,
I love that.
You know, I always like the sexually aggressive one in our relationships and stuff like that.
Oh, God, speaking my language.
Yeah.
Speaking my language.
So yeah, it was hard to find someone to keep up with me.
Right. Did you have like a lot of long-term relationships?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like basically was like safe. You know, like I was like, if I've dealt with this person, so I'll just like stick with what I know.
I think that's so much of it, though,
especially when you're young.
People get into comfort zones and like they're just scared to step out of that.
Yeah, definitely. And like, especially like being in the closet, like it was like, you know, if I have a boyfriend, no one's gonna ask me if I'm gay. So that was also
really,
yeah, that was definitely like in the back of my mind, at least from like high school onwards.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
That's so you knew. You just
it was like it was in there.
It was in there.
Yeah.
But I think too so much of it is what you're exposed to. Because if you grew up in a high school age area like where you weren't exposed to other queer people, gay people, trans people, like you wouldn't necessarily be empowered to,
and you don't have the information. Yeah, there's no one being like, oh yeah, I felt that way, and you're like, wait, other people feel this way,
right?
Because you know, when you're having girl talk or whatever, a sleepover, nobody brings up that shit. Like, no one's like, yes, I saw this girl's boobs the other day, and I was like, yes. So,
did your friends ever have an inkling? Like, I always wonder that about friendship, and when you have a friend that you're like, I don't know if you're straight.
Yeah.
I don't want to question you because I don't want you to be offended by that. But I also want you to know that you can talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Because it's okay. And you're my friend and I'll love you no matter what.
It's actually really funny because my best friend, Haley, that I've had since I was in like 3rd grade probably, I always thought she was a lesbian. Like our whole upbringing, I was always like, you know, Haley, if you are gay, like that's totally fine. Like I'm never like gonna hold that against you, and like you can tell me about it. And she wasn't. She was a late bloomer. Like,
right.
She didn't like men because they were stupid. Like,
I know, right?
Like, now she has a husband and 2 kids and whatever.
Oh, wow.
But like, but like she didn't have a boyfriend until we were like halfway through university.
Right.
Yeah, especially compared to me.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think it's like if a friend were to like if a friend ever questions you, do you ever get offended by that, or do you just kind of roll with it?
No, I roll with it. And now, like, I'm
love
so open that it's just like people come to me with questions.
I love that.
Yeah. They're like, okay, so my brother just came out as gay, and like I don't know how to ask these questions, and I'm like, all right, ask me. Like I can walk you through this. As much as possible. Like, obviously, I can't speak for all gays, but
Right. You can speak for like what your experience
Experiences,
was.
yeah.
And at least then they don't feel alone.
yeah.
What was the coming out process like? Everyone's is so different.
It's just been like so many coming outs. Like you're just like constantly coming out.
multiple coming
Yeah.
out.
So the first one coming out as a lesbian actually was kind of terrible. I had broken up with my boyfriend because I came out to him, and then he got like super obsessed with me, being like, you know, like I don't think you're gay, and like you're just like you just want an excuse not to be with me and stuff like that, like really toxic.
Oh my gosh.
And I ended up having to tell my parents because he kept like phoning them and like phoning me, and like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna tell you what happened. And my mom, first time we talked about it, she doesn't drink regularly. I came out and she ordered a gin and tonic at the Daryl's, which is like a
I love
yeah, Daryl's where they serve like hamburgers and shit.
Love it.
It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and then she said, "I was really hoping you were going to tell me you're pregnant." I was like, "Mom, I am literally 21 years old in university. Why would you prefer that I'm pregnant than
so
that I'm gay?"
young. So young.
Yeah. So,
Oh my
so
God.
like that was, you know, it took a while to get back on the horse with my parents, but my dad never cared. He doesn't really care. He was just like, as long as you're happy, I don't give a
that's
shit.
nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my mom just had like more ideals and like plans for me.
She was picturing the heteronormative,
You know,
I'm going to
2
be a
kids,
grandmother.
yeah, exactly. Which, like, yeah, I might still have kids, but like, it wasn't guaranteed that I was gonna have kids
Even.
if I was a woman.
And
Like-
that's like kind of what I hate the assumption that anyone will just have kids.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like, no.
So many people don't want kids and also
Yeah.
can't have kids.
Can't.
Like,
yeah, that's a
not
big
just
one.
like physically cannot, but like mental health wise, or like chronic pain, or like so many other options, like other like reasons.
Right.
And people just like totally gloss over that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So like not only are you like offending people that straight up don't want to have kids and like don't want to talk about it, but you're also offending people who maybe can't have kids.
Or have had miscarriages.
Or have had miscarriages, or like any number of things,
Yeah,
right?
It's a touchy area.
Yeah. So I just like people are just like asking like, when are you gonna have kids? And you're just like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll
It's
tell
an
you when
if.
I'm going to. Yeah.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
Not a when.
Yeah, exactly.
No one fucking knows.
No. And yeah, so I came out as lesbian, and then I was kind of all over the map.
Yeah.
I met my ex-partner 6 years ago. And they're a trans person, trans non-binary person, and they kind of like, you know, opened those doors for me. And like, yeah, like that's how we got to know each other, was like talking about, you know, gender feels and like, you know, sexuality and you know, sexism and things like that. Like we had a lot of like in-depth conversation about gender, which I had never had with anyone.
Right.
Ever. Like,
Yeah.
no one had even asked. No one had, you know, there was nothing.
Uh-huh.
And then they kind of introduced me to that, you know, that whole line of thinking and being like, this, you know, there's other options than just being a woman. Like there's something else out there if that's what you are looking for.
If you truly don't feel right in
right.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was like huge for me, like big, like eye opening. And
Interesting.
yeah. And I had already kind of like liked the name Charlie, like it had already kind of resonated with me. So when we had started like dating, I was like, I think I want you to try using the name Charlie. I think I want to try that out, and it just fit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is that how it kind of started for you? Was
I
the name?
changed the name, and then, you know, I tried out different pronouns. Like I was they, them for a long time because I didn't know if I was like a boy or if I was like somewhere in between, like more
Right.
non-binary,
Uh-huh.
or like gender non-conforming or whatever. There's a million names.
Do you know the difference? So gender non-conforming and non-binary.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
So basically anyone can be gender non-conforming. So like you can be a cis lady, but maybe you don't conform to your gender roles.
Oh, okay. So like if I dressed very tomboyish,
Yeah, or like
more masculine,
you know, like a cis man who likes to wear dresses or like wear makeup, but are still like a cis man.
they're still man.
Yeah, they're still a man.
And I think people see guys like that and they're like
Pronouns, yeah.
and then it's like
Not necessarily. Yeah, that's why you you ask people's pronouns.
Yeah,
that's like number one. You don't need to ask somebody like, what do you have in your pants, or like, you know, how do you identify? Nothing like that. Just what are your pronouns? And if you get to know them, then they'll tell you their story. Like,
and it's insane to me, like just how engraved in us it is to just go he, she. Like even when you see someone who you're like, you might think that they're non-binary or something, like you kind of pick one and you roll with it.
Exactly.
And this is not anyone's,
it's just
this
way
is just how we were socialized.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's tricky. So like I think that's important what you said about asking, because I think that the thing is with some people is that they're scared to offend by asking.
Yeah.
But people ain't gonna be offended.
Yeah.
They're gonna be happy you asked, probably.
And honestly, the people who get offended are cis people who don't have to deal with this anyway. So, like, if you make them uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but you can be uncomfortable for, like, 2 seconds to make my life slightly better.
I think and that's another good point. The fear of being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Us as a society right now, we are so scared to have uncomfortable conversations and to be uncomfortable, and we're kind of refusing it.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah. And then we complain that we don't understand things. And you're like, how are you gonna what? Like, are you not gonna ask questions? Are you not gonna have those conversations and then be like, I don't understand these newfangled kids and they're all their pineapple genders and shit. Like,
I do think that there's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it does take a lot of, again, curiosity, understanding, learning.
Yeah.
Talking to people who are different. That's the big thing for me. Like I would much rather sit down with someone and talk. And then I get it more. And so I think that is so important.
Like first person perspective is just, it's easier. Like you can, like if you read it in a book, you're like, okay, this is like, this has been edited, this has been like gone over by a bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. But if you're getting it straight from the source, you can be like, okay, and then you can ask questions and then you can clarify things. And then, there's a whole other opportunity there.
Right.
To, learn.
Yeah. When you were doing the they them, did you find that difficult?
Oh yeah, really hard.
So was this so when you decided to go they them, did you send a mass text? Like did you?
I think at one point I posted on my Facebook because I had a drag profile.
Right.
So like I kind of kept my life separate for a long time. Like drag was like queer and everything, and then Charlie, or like my old account, was just like, business as usual.
That's fascinating to me. The carpet
compartmentalized.
Such a hard word to say, but it's a word that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Just the idea of the different aspects of a person, and like, people who have multiple Instagram accounts, that they're like, they do different things on these Instagram accounts. And it's just like with you, you had 2 accounts that were, this is Charlie and this is Rhett.
Yep. And I've had that, like, I've had Rhett's account for 5 years now. So, like, there's, like, a whole life on there.
So, is it kind of like flipping a switch in a way when you go from, like, into that
definitely.
character?
It's definitely like a character. I mean, this is kind of, like, in between because...
This is, like, you're dressed like him, but you're
Charlie.
but
I'm more like Charlie right
I like
now.
this.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot, though.
If you put me on stage, though, I'm an ass.
I've actually never seen your... I really want to see it.
You have to come. It was so funny.
I'm
not going to toot my own horn, but I'm hilarious.
I need to make a point to go to more drag shows because it's a world that I absolutely appreciate and love so much. I actually went to hilarious story about Pride. My first Pride event was the Queens Against Humanity event.
Oh yes,
with Rouge
and Shayla.
Yeah. And I got a big old dick right in my face. Because my friend beside me, who was sitting like kind of in the intersection, like right here, like waved a $5 bill in the air, and then I was like, oh shit. And then, like one of the performers, who was the co-host of that show? It was Rouge and someone else. Forget the name.
Was it Shayla?
Maybe.
Shayla Shenanigans?
Yeah, well, maybe.
I know that's her show. I don't know if she was hosting.
Yeah, that more than likely. Yeah. And like she's like, shook it right in my face. And I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's very little shame in the drag community.
That's why I love it so much. I just love the just unabashed, like.
And like that's something that we've built
Freedom.
for ourselves, right? Like that is a space we have curated to just not fucking care what anyone else thinks and do whatever we want.
Zero fucks.
Zero fucks, yeah.
No fucks at all. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you were Charlie. You made the page for and so the drag. Where does drag come into this? There's so many things here.
Well, that
so.
that kind of like was a springboard for like experiencing gender differently, like different gender expressions. Like I learned how to flatten my chest. Like I use duct tape to flatten my chest.
Duct tape, yeah.
Yeah, when I do you can wear a binder too. Like I wear a binder day to day, but not today because it's hot as fuck and there's no way I'm
Fuck
wearing
that.
that.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, like boys have tits too. It's fine. And, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it was like total springboard for learning about gender and like what does masculinity mean to me, and also just like seeing my face differently, like contouring, and then also getting on stage and just like the idea of like, you know, putting it all out there and like you're the only person on stage, everyone is watching you, what are you gonna do?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What was your first drag performance like?
I did You May Be Right by Billy Joel. I was supposed to take off my tie and my jacket and a belt, and I could not get my tie undone. I was trying to undo it the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
And I just kept like pulling and pulling and pulling, and I like choked myself with it. Shit. And eventually like somebody came out from the crowd and undid my tie for me. And I was like, oh my god, I'm never doing this again.
Oh
yeah.
I can't imagine. Like first time performances, like
like
I'm actually thinking about doing stand up for the first time, like soon.
Slightly terrifying.
I don't know when, but like it's gonna happen soon. And I'm so ridiculously nervous. It's just there's something about the idea of like, okay, like you are making the choice to like step up there and like you said, put it all out. Like you're just like, here I am, world.
Yeah. Hopefully you like my shit. That's here for 5 minutes.
Did you have a big crowd for your first show?
I think so. I think it was a Halifax Drag King show, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think it would have been their anniversary show, the first anniversary of it. So, yeah.
Amazing.
And I think I've been in every HDK show since then. Wow. Yeah. For 5 years.
And so after that first show, which didn't go...
It didn't go great. I still loved it.
You
I still had a
still-
great time. Like, I came off stage and I was like, what just happened? But then everyone was like, after that, it was great. Like, you did really good and you got confident. I'm like, okay, fine,
That's
whatever.
what it is. Because I have seen, like, performances where I'm just like, it's just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a matter of working on it. And, like, I'm, like, getting up there and doing
Practice.
it. Practice.
Another thing, you have to do some shitty numbers. Like, there's no way around that. Like, you have to learn like what style you want to do, or like if you want to do a style, or like how masculine you want to be, or like gender fucky, or you know, feminine, or whatever. Like you have to. The first year of performing for me was just like putting your like all of your liked songs on Spotify on random. That was pretty much it. Like I did Billy Joel, I did Blink-182. I love it. Yeah, I did like some ballads. I did some like 80s rock.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love the variety. I think that's what would make it really fun.
Yeah, and like I definitely like stuck with a solid character for a couple years to kind of like. It's easier to brand yourself that way.
Which is this, is it?
Which is this.
Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say, because I was looking through your
This is
pictures.
mine, yeah.
You have some multiple characters, though,
Yeah.
don't you? Yeah.
I also, I do burlesque as well. Like burlesque / drag queen kind of thing. As a trans man. So people get confused, but it's whatever. I do what I want. I wear big wigs. I glue my eyebrows down. You know, I wear corsets.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like that always confuses people because they're like, especially my mom. Like my mom and I have come a very long way.
Yeah.
She's only like recently started asking about drag.
Right.
Before she was like, I don't want to know anything. But she's like, if you want to be a man, then why do you dress like a woman? I'm like,
a lot of men
dress like women. Like,
yeah,
drag
exactly.
queens. What do you think of fucking drag
All
queens?
you have to do is just think, okay, Rouge.
Yeah, like
Man,
lots
what-
of,
like,
yeah,
dress like
and
a
like,
woman.
and even like Rouge came out as gender fluid,
Right.
recently, or like in the past couple of years, recent to me because I've known her for so long now. But But yeah, up until that point, yeah, it was, you know, a man dressed up.
Right.
In feminine clothing and makeup and over-exaggerated. And I still do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like as a, you know, a trans queen, that's what I do. I put on the theatrics of it.
You can play different characters.
Exactly,
Sometimes that's character is a woman.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a man.
not.
Sometimes it's something in between. Sometimes it's a little monster.
I love that.
Yeah.
So okay, so you were with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, so you were with a trans non-binary partner.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they introduced you to this whole other world.
Yeah, basically.
So when did you then? I don't know what the word would be. Not decide. That might not be the right word.
No,
choice.
but like come to terms with
the idea of being
trans.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was within that like first year or so.
Right.
Like I didn't know if I knew I was definitely non-binary. Like I didn't fit the mold of woman. I didn't really associate myself with womanhood or whatever that means at the time.
Which is interesting because you cheered.
Yeah.
Which is such a
femme
that
sport,
is
yeah.
total like. I mean,
surrounded
if a
by
guy
women all the
cheers,
time.
he's
like,
gay. You
yeah,
know, like,
you always and like it's funny because the guys that have been on my teams actually aren't gay. But everyone is always just like, oh, obviously you're gay. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm the gay one.
It's not like hairdressers. Like I think that's the case
Exactly.
with hairdressers too. People assume.
Yeah.
It's like no, they don't have to be.
Yeah. And also like you might be bi, like you might be into a lot of different things. And I forgot where I was going with that.
Oh yeah, the coming to terms with.
Oh
being,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably like a year into that, and like I had started drag right before I met my partner.
Oh, cool.
So like that's kind of how we met because they're also drag king.
Okay.
And yeah, so like about a year in, I was like, okay, I think definitely non-binary, thinking on the trans masculine thing, and probably in the last like 2 years, definitely gone down like the road of looking at surgery and hormones and changing to he him and things like that. So that's been like fairly recent, I guess, like in the last like year or two.
And that's such a process.
Oh my God.
Like I feel like that's definitely not something people dive into.
Exactly. And that's like my least favorite comment is like, don't you know that's permanent? And you're like, no fucking shit. I've been trying to make this happen for 4 years. Like, I'm hoping it's permanent because if I get these chopped off and they come back, someone's gonna hear from me. Like,
yeah, it's like when you
there will
get
be a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's like tattoos can also be covered up. Like they're not totally permanent. Like this is permanent. Yeah, that's no, but like it is a big, especially if you do go the surgery route. That's a big decision.
It is a big decision, and it's a big surgery, right? Like anything you get done like that is a big surgery, and it's scary, and it has all sorts of like medical ramifications. But if that's what you need to be yourself, to be happy and be comfortable, then like that's the risk you take.
That's the risk, and not everyone goes the surgery
No,
route.
definitely not.
Which is something with the with the trans thing. I think so many straight people or people who aren't really open-minded, like they just instantly go to like, have you had the surgery?
Yeah, and it's always the surgery, and you're like, you know how many surgeries
There's
there are?
many.
Yeah, like
How okay, top bottom.
You can do top bottom for like trans men. It's usually top and bottom surgery. There's 3 different kinds of bottom surgery you can get.
Is there really?
Yeah, like there's all sorts of different options of like how you can reconstruct or like work on or add to or anything like that. There's several different ways.
And
to do
I
that.
honestly, like, just from a medical perspective, find that absolutely fascinating
and
insane what we can do.
Yeah, and like it's come so far in the last like 10-15 years to what like it's much better than what it used to be. And like people still like make shitty comments about like Chop Shop or like anything like that, and you're just like, you're gross. Like you're gross. This is like medical professionals.
Yeah.
And it's not your opinion. It's not your choice. You don't get to comment on my body. Like,
no, 100%.
Period. Anyone's body. Just fuck off.
Fuck off. Oh, the bell. The bell is the I agree bell. It's if you make a good point, you feel free to ding it whenever you want. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something like, I mean, it's up to you if you want to tell people what you've done.
Yeah.
But that's your call. That's no one else's call.
Yeah.
Like I follow someone on Instagram who was very open about it and like took pictures being like, I'm going into surgery, about to get a vagina. And I'm like, this is so cool and crazy.
Yeah. And like some people are super open about it. Other people, that's their privacy. And like that's, But like for me as someone who's like more of a public figure, I think it's more important for me to be open about things that where I'm comfortable, right?
100%.
To like push the envelope and be visible for people who maybe can't do that.
Yeah. Because the emotional side of it
It's heavy.
People forget.
Yeah.
And people forget that there's a lot of emotions that go into it. And if you aren't there, you're not going to be comfortable to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So not everyone's going to be a spokesperson kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's the thing. I think not everybody, lots of people who are well-meaning, well-intended, but just too nosy for their own good kind of thing. Like, they want to know, but they're not willing to do their own research at all, or like, ask the right people, or they make the assumption that everyone wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Or that everyone wants to tell you all about themselves.
Right.
Which is not true for anyone.
No.
Like, if you went up to, that's like when you go to the bus stop and somebody keeps talking to you and you try to put your headphones in and you're like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't have to talk to you.
Someone else made this analogy on my show recently. The
Yeah.
exact same analogy.
Yeah. Like,
And you're totally right.
yeah. Like, you don't have a right to talk to me.
No.
Like, I don't have to tell you things.
No.
And they get offended.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, well, I just want to know. And you're like, well, good for you. Like, read
Yeah.
a fucking book. I don't know. Like, go talk
We
to
got to stop making
somebody.
assumptions.
Yeah. Which is why, like, as a public person, I kind of take that responsibility when I can, like when it's available, to answer some of those questions for people who are curious, but maybe don't know the best way to go about things.
Right.
Yeah, just kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, ask me your offensive questions. I'll tell you why they're offensive, but then I will answer.
I like that. Well, this is what I was going to say. Like, how do you what's your style like when it comes to dealing with people who are insensitive or, they might ask things in a way that's
You're, like,
not
icky,
respectful.
yeah.
Like, how do you deal with it? Because everyone's different in how they deal with. Some people don't say anything.
Yeah. And honestly, the past, like, the first 3 years where I was out, I never corrected anyone. I never. Like, it was either a partner corrected them or a friend or something like that, or they just never got corrected. Like, I just didn't, because I was like, I don't know how to stand up for myself. I don't know how to explain my identity when I don't know what it is exactly.
You're still kind
I'm
of
still
figuring
things
it out.
Yeah. And, I don't want to get into an argument with someone about it or whatever.
Right.
So now, though, it usually starts with a laugh. And it's like, okay.
Like, kind of a bit of a nervous laugh.
All right. So, like,
right.
You're using these words, but usually we use these other words. And that's offensive because of, this history. And then I go into like, but what you're actually asking is this? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm like, okay, I can answer that for you.
I can answer that for you and also phrase it this way next time.
Exactly. And that's what I say. Like, if you, if like we were saying about asking people like pronouns or whatever, like,
right.
And then that's when I encourage people, like, ask. If you're not sure, ask. And
Yeah.
even if you are sure and you're like introducing someone to someone else, you can be like, oh, and this person's name is so-and-so and their pronouns are he, him. And then that person is like, pronouns. Oh, my pronouns are this.
And I think the name thing, it's interesting because names are so he, she.
Yeah.
So for example,
gendered.
Rhett.
Yeah.
Don't really know. So that would if I saw on Facebook someone named that, it would lead me to be like,
yeah,
you know,
not sure.
But with like say Rouge Fatale,
yeah.
So when Rouge is Rouge, she's a she.
Yeah,
she's
everyone calls her she.
Woman,
yeah,
and a fierce woman, and then like Jason is male.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people would assume he when Rouge is not in drag.
Yeah.
But you just said that they consider themselves
gender fluid. Yeah.
Okay, so
he's
gender
he
fluid.
And I think he's pretty much good with any pronoun.
I like that even better.
Yeah.
Because that's less fuck ups for me.
Yeah, he's pretty across the board with
I like that. Okay, so interesting. So gender fluid, like that's one that I get confused too. Like I get confused with gender, like I don't know.
Fluid, it's what it sounds like. It can wish and wash. Like,
wish and wash.
Yeah, like you.
Depending on the day.
Maybe you're a lady one day, maybe you're a boy the other day, maybe you're, something in between, maybe you're none of that. Maybe you don't have a gender. Like, it can change.
Anything goes.
Yeah, it changes is what it
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. How did you choose Rhett?
It's actually from Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Rhett Butler.
Oh, but Rhett's, I
Yeah.
like that. I was wondering
So-
the reference because every drag queen or king has like when they pick their name, it's a reference to something
yeah.
or something
A lot of
inspired
people
it.
do. Yeah.
yeah.
Something inspired it, or like it's a pun or whatever. Yeah. So most people don't get mine, which is fine with me, kind of, because
It's your special thing.
yeah,
You're
and-
very unique.
yeah, very unique. And also, like, when I picked my name, I wasn't very like culturally sensitive or like informed or anything like that. And like Gone with the Wind is like a super problematic, shitty, racist movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, it is horrible.
really?
Yes. Yeah, but I like at the time, like, it wasn't. I didn't know. Like,
Right, of course.
it wasn't. I should have known, but I didn't.
Oh, so
Like,
many movies are problematic that you don't really remember.
yeah, exactly. And
You know,
but
like-
I loved his style, and he's like also just a scoundrel, right? And like that was kind of what I was going for.
I love that.
And then it moved into this like 70s porno dad person.
Ah!
So not really Rhett Butler at all anymore. Very much Rhett Slutler.
Slutler! Yes, slut.
slut.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, staying true to my roots.
And how did you figure out the aesthetics? I mean, obviously you kind of based it off of something.
I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started out with random shit, whatever I could find, like people's hand-me-downs, like whatever. And then eventually, like, I think I did a Tom Jones number, I think it was. And he sings like "What's Up, Pussycat" and like those songs. Yeah, like really cheesy, like super cheesy 70s music. And
Love that.
and I did it in like an all-black suit or something like that. And someone came out to me and was like, you know what you need? Like a pointy collar or like some bell bottoms. And I was like, that sounds great. So yeah, and then I acquired some more things, and it's slowly progressed over time into obnoxious patterns. And
I think that's what I love about drag. I think it takes something that, like, say I love glitter. So if I ever did drag, it would just be Glitter City.
Yeah.
So really you're just taking something that you appreciate fashion-wise and you're exaggerating it
Yeah,
tenfold.
100 times. Yeah.
And it's just like, I always think, I'm like, I don't want to brag, but I'm a great lip singer. Like, I truly am. I won't lie. I've seen some drag performances where I'm
my
like,
God, yeah. Mhm.
you're
Won't name
not
names,
even,
but like,
you're not even going with the music.
yeah.
And it makes me a little mad because that's one of the things you should do.
Yeah, that's a key component for
I've
most drag.
always thought about doing hyper drag. Is that what it's called? Or like just being more exaggerated female?
Yeah, like if you're
Yeah.
a cis lady like yourself, yeah,
Yeah.
and you wanted to be a drag queen, then yeah, it'd be you. Some people just say drag queen.
Drag
Other
queen.
people just like hyper queen,
love that.
femme queen.
Femme
There's a
queen.
few different ones.
There's a few. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
They used to use the term bio queen, but we don't
Yeah.
really like that because it's like basically saying like it's offensive to trans women and trans people in general.
Gotcha.
Where it's like you are biologically female, so you're a real female doing drag as opposed to like a trans woman, and you're like who's not biologically which is bullshit. Like you are who
That's
you
problematic.
are. You come out that way. Like that's
who you are.
That's biologically who you are.
Yeah.
So we don't use that term anymore. But hyper
that's
queen
fair.
has kind of replaced
Hyper queen.
that.
Got you.
Or hyper king. There's also hyper kings. There's
Love
less of them.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. A hyper king.
Yeah.
So like someone who just wants to up their manliness a little bit.
Yeah. Like actually Rouge at the Stallion this year performed as Code Blue. Was his drag king persona. Yeah. It was super fun.
I would love
She did
to see
great.
that.
I think she did the male version of You and I by Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Amazing.
Absolutely killed it.
I need to get Rouge on here at some point because she did my live stream.
Yes.
But like I'd like to really like be like, you can come on as whoever you want. Doesn't matter, drag, non-drag, whatever. Like I just want to learn how, like, you're from Cape Breton, rural Cape Breton, and now look at you. How the fuck?
Yeah, no,
it's fascinating to me,
glamour. Yeah.
especially people who come from small towns. Because I'm just like, the idea of just breaking out of that closed-minded bubble, like that's so inspiring.
Yeah, big time. And
So-
even like, going like I did a couple shows in New Brunswick before, and like even just like coming from here to New Brunswick was like kind of culture shock.
Yeah.
Like what is acceptable or what not acceptable, like what we talk about, what we don't talk about, like stuff like that. It was just like it's wild. So.
I'm always the type to talk about it until I get the reaction that I shouldn't talk about it.
That's usually me. Yeah. Like until someone starts booing, then I'm like, we're gonna have this conversation. I don't care if everyone's uncomfortable. Like as long as I'm not like pushing the wrong button. It's like we can have uncomfortable conversations, and you just kind of deal with that.
You're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Ah, man, there's so much to go over. So you were with your partner, and then you kind of figured things out for you. Fell in love with drag, and then you said that you went through a divorce.
Yeah, we got married almost 3 years ago now.
Okay.
And
what was there a big wedding or?
Yeah, we had a big wedding.
No, sore spot.
I don't think I would ever do a big wedding again.
Yeah.
It was just like very stressful and expensive, and it was one day,
and it's such a whirlwind for you on that day.
Exactly, you don't even get to enjoy it really. Like you're just stressed, and so yeah. I had a big wedding. All my family came over from England. Blah blah blah. Married for 2 years, and we split up around Christmas this year, or like this Christmas that just passed. And it's been a big life change. Like we were together for 5 years, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Was there a separation period, or is this the separation period?
Technically, this is separation.
Okay,
we're not actually divorced, but just. We're done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Divorce is also just such an interesting thing to me because some people just like get to it quickly.
Yeah.
Some people stay separated for a while before they do it. Some people just choose to like not be together and stay married. Yeah. And I'm like, it's interesting to me like what you choose to do and why. Mm-hmm. Like
I think a lot of people it's money related.
I was just gonna say like how pricey is it to get divorced?
I know. I'm pretty sure like the base rate for like you have no qualms with each other, just put in the paperwork is like $400 each.
Okay, well that's not too bad.
It's not terrible, but like if you're low income or like a queer person who doesn't have a job or something like that, like it makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't got $400 now.
Exactly.
So
I can't tell you last time I had a full $400 that didn't need to be spent on a bill or rent or
isn't it
a mustache.
It's such a struggle.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle. Money is the worst.
Money is the.
I love having money. I don't like making money.
I don't like working for money.
Yeah,
but I could like just
give it to me.
Yes.
Can I just exist and they'll pay me for it? Like, is that a thing?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be the dream.
Yeah.
I'm just so bad with it. I'm
terrible.
And like we were talking before the mics were on about how drag is very much so an investment because you're making all these costumes, you're assembling, you're buying makeup, you're buying all these different things. Like
wigs,
do you
shoes, undergarments, everything.
How do you have like a budget in your budget that's like drag money? Like
I probably should. But no, it's usually just like I saw that thing, I need it, I'm gonna take it.
Right. Yeah.
Or like it's like 3 weeks before a show, I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't make that costume. All right, I guess we're spending, $50 on fabric and rhinestones, and I'm just gonna glue some stuff and hope for the best.
Oh my gosh, and that's one thing I love about Rouge and Deva because they
make all their stuff.
They are just oh my gosh. Subscribe to Station Drag.
Yes, Queen's Ranting.
I'll put it right here.
Yeah.
Fucking subscribe to them. As a member of the Halifax Belle Society, I am contractually obligated to tell you to subscribe. So subscribe, bitches. I'm totally gonna tag them in that.
Yeah. They'll appreciate that.
But there's gonna be ways to do it on a budget though.
There
like
is
little tips and tricks.
And that's the thing. Like I didn't always spend lots of money.
Yeah.
Tips and tricks, clothing swaps. Do clothing swaps with your friends. Like there's always something, and edit things that you already have. Like you don't have to make a whole new costume, but you can throw glitter on it and rhinestones and like add some fucking spikes to the shoulders. Like, there's lots of other things you can do other than make a whole outfit.
Right.
Yeah. So like that's definitely where I started. Gotcha. It was just like, I mean, there's kind of like baby drag kings. It's like very, jeans, t-shirts.
Right. Kind of more basic jacket, costumes, but maybe they just like makeup wise. Because you can get really good cheap makeup.
Yeah.
Makeup's a little easier to do cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Clothes are tough.
Clothes are tough. I thrift shop everything. I don't buy anything in a store, like
Good for
unless
you.
it's like Sally Ann or whatever. And so yeah, thrift, get makeup samples.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
And at Sephora, they'll give you a sample of everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Anything
how
you
I
need.
don't think I've ever bought an actual primer. I just go in and I'm like, can I try that one and also that one?
Because they're so expensive.
They're so expensive. And like a little goes a long way. So
It's true. And primer is one of those things that you fucking hate dropping the money on, but it will last
but it's
you a
so
while.
helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't learn about primer until like 3 years ago. And then I was like, my life has changed. I don't have to put my makeup on 3 times. Like, this is magical. Why didn't anyone tell me?
I've actually been struggling with primer because I have like really oily skin and my problem area is my T-zone. And so like right here, makeup does like it
just doesn't want to stay.
It's just always separates. And I actually learned from people at Sephora and MAC to maybe try going without it and see if it looks better without it.
Yeah.
Because if my face is going to eat makeup either way,
Right? Yeah.
I'd rather it look I'd rather choose the option that looks better.
Yeah. 'Cause that's what the makeup is for.
So like I always use primer and now I'm trying very little primer and none in this area.
Okay, yeah.
And it's working
Sticks
out,
better,
I think,
yeah.
a little bit, yeah. But it's such a fucking struggle.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to work on it. Like any kind of makeup. It doesn't matter if it's drag or like regular makeup or party makeup, whatever. Like
Right.
you gotta practice.
Right.
And that's usually what like separates like boys from the men kind of thing. Like if you're gonna be a drag performer, like long term,
Yeah.
you gotta practice.
Which is crazy because actually I was actually on Queen's Ranch in one of their episodes and then I randomly got invited over and I went into the eye of the storm and I was there when Rouge was teaching Vanity,
Oh yes.
like kind of overseeing what she was doing and like schooling
Yep.
on the makeup. I was like, this is motherfucking intense.
Oh my God,
But
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a makeup person. I die
Tell me more.
for that. How did you get into? Because this looks amazing, by the way. The contour, it looks.
And this is like a fast face for me, so don't
very
judge
fast.
me.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Faster than what I did.
Yeah. And I was still late.
It's okay. I love it when people are late because I'm usually scrambling, so it's all good. How did you learn all the makeup? Like, how did you get into the makeup side of things?
I always liked makeup, like growing up. Like I did cheer, so like we were always doing glitter eyebrows and like shit like that. And but yeah, with the
Glitter eyebrows.
yeah, we did glitter eyebrows, glitter eyeshadow. Basically, we just like put your whole fucking face in a thing of glitter and go out and cheer.
Love.
So much craft glitter in my eyes, though.
It's so
Like,
dangerous unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, the fact that I still have corneas is very surprising.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And but yeah, I have 2 drag dads. Yeah. So like yeah, they adopted me like right when I started, probably like a couple months in. And yeah, they kind of like sat me down like, this is how you do your makeup, like this is how you bind your chest, this is, you know, you might want this size packer versus the giant one because it doesn't actually look good.
Oh, the Packers. Yeah. Oh, so much.
Soft dicks.
Soft dicks.
Yeah.
My specialty. Am I right? In the sense that guys don't stay hard with me. But oh, that must be so fun picking stuff like that out.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're just like, because they sell most of that stuff at Venus Envy. They sell binders there, and they sell packers. Packers, I mean, it's essentially it's for trans people, but like we use them for drag,
right?
And they're so funny. Oh my god, there's basically there's like an extra large that's like basically like the size of my forearm.
Jesus Christ,
that's what Vincent St. Grace uses.
Holy shit!
So it's like 100 pounds soaking wet with this like horse dick, and it's just like
the contrast.
It's my favorite thing in the world. And then there's a smaller, and then there's like a tiny one, but it has giant balls, so it's still very uncomfortable. It's like this tiny penis with like big, huge balls.
I was gonna ask like how comfortable that is, and if you get used to it.
Oh, they're made of silicone. I think they're silicone. Yeah, like squishy silicone, and like it's not uncomfortable. Mostly it's hot.
Yeah, that would.
I think that's like a regular penis thing though. So. Like, it's generally warm and toasty down there, so
they must be tricky to have. I know with me, it's like I feel lucky sometimes because I'm like I'm wearing a thong, wearing a skirt, the air is a flowing. Like,
Yeah.
it's not hot here. I'm not a huge fan of pants. So.
Yeah, pants are not great.
They're really not that great.
Yeah. I don't wear jeans. I hate jeans. Jeans are probably my least favorite pant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stiff.
So stiff and just like hard to find the right ones that fit properly and just very frustrating. And they're always like coming in and out of style. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like completely out of style than like something from 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You want to come from a different time period.
Got like a rat tail coming out here.
Oh, love. I was going to ask how you did the mustache and the eyebrows, because those are the two things that I can't stop looking at in this
Mustache
situation.
is actually it's a human hair mustache
Ah!
with like mesh.
It
underneath.
looks very can I feel?
It's actually kind of crusty right now because I haven't cleaned my mustaches since Pride. So I was putting it on and I was like, ooh, this is quite hard. It's usually a little fluffier than this. But
Just the idea of cleaning a mustache.
oh
is-
yeah, the things you never thought you were gonna do. Like things like,
Picking up pieces.
oh, I just stepped on my dick. That happens in my house like at least once a week. Like, did I just step on your dick, Red? I'm like, oh, sorry, Alex.
She'll like yell when someone steps on it as if it's connected to you.
I felt that.
Do you have multiple decks?
Yes.
I love
mostly because I forget my dick a lot of the time, and then other people have to give me theirs, and then I never give them back. I currently have Peter Packer's. I have Matthew McGay's. I have one that's mine, and I think I have one that's my ex-partner's.
Oh my god!
And I couldn't tell you where any of them are right now.
So your ex-partner did drag too?
Yes. Yeah.
And
Drag
so
King, yeah.
did you have a household that was just
Very drag.
madness?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a drag room.
Oh, I love the
nowhere
drag
as
rooms.
nice as Rouge is.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Just like very hectic, especially around Pride. Like we were basically like tearing each other's heads off.
Well, because you're
so
in a
busy.
relationship and you're also kind of working together.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just like 24/7 together, and like drag is messy. Like you get shit everywhere. You drop your bag at the end of the night. Like it's nice to have someone who's kind of like helping you with it versus like 2 people doing the same thing.
They kind of know all the components that
Yeah.
you need, and like they might know where things are when you don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting.
As opposed to just being like all hell breaking loose all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Especially when you're 2 people with anxiety.
Oh, fun.
And getting ready for a show, and you're not prepared, and you're running late.
That's one thing I always feel like I'm home with drag queens and kings, because I'm like, man, I feel like I'm very high maintenance with makeup and shit, and I'm always running late. I'm like, these are my people.
Yeah,
they get it.
We get it. 100%.
You can't rush the glam.
No.
You can't. Like, you cannot. That's like, if I could get anything on my tombstone, it's that.
Yeah.
You cannot rush the glam. You'll get there when you get there. You gotta focus
And you'll
on the glam.
appreciate it when it's done, okay?
Yes. Because as soon as you rush it, it's gonna look like shit.
Yep, exactly. And then you rush it and it starts looking like shit, and then you panic, and then you like it just gets worse and worse, and then all of a sudden you just throw glitter all over your face and call it a day.
Which that can work too.
It does work sometimes. Like just hairspray all over your face, throw some glitter on, and you're like, contour, fine.
Oh, I love that. And do you have a lot of wigs?
Rhett generally just wears this wig.
Love it.
It's actually like completely disgusting. I put it in the washing machine. That's how I clean it.
True question. Is it real or synthetic?
This is synthetic, yeah.
So that's something I always wonder with wigs, because like my high pony extension is real human hair, which I love. But I always wonder with people who have so many wigs if they buy all, because it's fucking pricey.
So expensive.
This fucking ponytail was $100.
Yeah, no.
Motherfucker.
I exclusively buy synthetic because you can rework it so many times. Whereas human hair will break, because that's what human hair does. It breaks. You if you back comb it, you're gonna lose hair.
Right.
It needs oil. It needs it needs different things than a synthetic plastic hair.
It's more high maintenance.
It is more high maintenance.
Is there
You have
ways
to be
to
more
make,
careful with it?
Because for me with the synthetic, I always think it's like frizzy.
It can, and that's why I use a steamer. That's how you reset wigs. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you can make a synthetic wig look amazing.
Oh my god, yes. Like anything, I'm pretty sure anything that Rouge or Deva wears, those are all synthetic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they're much easier. Yeah, they're much easier to work with. You have to be a little more careful with heat and stuff like that, but that's why I use the steamer. Because it's like a wet heat instead of it like
And is
melting
this
things.
just like a clothing steamer that
Yeah.
you get?
I actually have a portable one, so it's just like, it's all one little thing, and you just, it's perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And I'll do short wigs. I have long wigs. I have several wigs for Billy, who's my alter ego.
Billy
alter ego. Coquette.
Coquette.
Yes.
Another one. What does he look like?
Billy's a girl.
Oh,
well, non-binary girl.
Okay.
Person. That's my queen/burlesque persona.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Billy has lots of hair, mostly giant blonde wigs, but I do have a few pink ones also. And I have one long black one that kind of goes back and forth between Rhett and Billy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better? Doing better? I guess it would depend.
I'm just more comfortable being Rhett because like it's such a like I know exactly who he is. Like I know what he likes, I know his humor, I know how to host as him. Whereas like Billy's still like in development. Yeah.
That's a very important question because so with drag, you got the aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. You can figure that out. You got the music aspect, so you got to figure out what songs you're gonna do, stuff like that. But then there's this whole like personality, the stage presence, like how they talk. How do you figure that out? Like, is that just something you just experiment with it?
Yeah, you just experiment with it. And like some people like, I know for me, I kind of got on stage and I was like, and it kind of like gives you a personality. Like you get on stage and you see how people react to you and they're like, I'm going to amp this up. I'm going to like, do this or, say this because I know it's going to get a laugh or whatever. So you start to like build on those things slowly.
Right.
And like it took me forever to get comfortable hosting. Like being on stage for the entire show basically is very stressful.
The hosting type of gig, whether that's in drag or comedy, is a tough one.
It's so tough
because you really
you gotta
keep that audience with you and excited the whole time. Like I would argue, like hosts are working harder than anyone on the show.
Yeah, hosts and producers are basically like, and a lot of the time those are the same people.
Wow,
so it's like double time. People who host and produce their own shows is just like.
Yeah, that's a lot. And you're working with the people. You need to maintain those relationships.
Yeah.
You need to keep everything
running smoothly, making sure everybody's safe, making sure the audience knows the rules, making sure, the money gets where it needs to be, making sure, there's nobody weird backstage. Like there's just so many little things.
So many moving parts.
Yeah, exactly.
And most of the shows that you do are at Men's and Molly's?
Yeah. We have moved into, like, my burlesque troupe performs out of the Bus Stop Theater now. And the Glamazons are also there, but they've also been doing shows at the Seahorse and the Marquee.
Yeah.
So I did a show at the Marquee on Sunday with the Glamazons.
Oh,
we did Snatch Game.
I gotta go.
It was so
What's Snatch Game?
Snatch Game, they stole it from RuPaul. Basically,
straight up.
Yeah, it's like the match game where there's two people who answer questions, like two audience members. Usually, they answer questions, random ask questions, and the panel of celebrities who are all drag performers impersonating people answer, like, try and get the same answers. As the other person, like they write down at the same time as the other person, and you try and get the same answer. Except nobody ever actually tries to answer the question. We all just put whatever the fuck we want,
right,
to make a laugh. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, so a lot of shade is thrown. Because the first half, at least when they do it here, the first half is like celebrity impersonations, like anyone under the sun you could be. I did Ron Swanson this year. Yeah.
You'd be so good at that.
Yeah, it was good. I had a really great. I love Snatch Game, and second set is local drag performers.
Oh, nice!
So you impersonate other performers.
Ooh, who have you done?
I did Vincent St. Grace.
Yes.
And last time I did Bobby Sparkles.
Wow.
Who was my partner at the time.
Oh.
It was There's nothing like being shaded to someone you live with.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But Vincent's like my uncle in drag, I guess, because he's my father's brother. And
so can we explain the drag family?
It's
thing.
It's interesting, often incestual. A lot of like grandmother's brother, sister, cousin kind of thing.
I know there's so many. So when someone's starting out in drag, they get like a drag parent.
Sometimes, not everyone does.
Not everyone does. How what makes it? How do you get one? Or like
they adopt you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of friends with somebody, or if you know them really well, they then say,
"All right, I'm taking you on my way. You're part of my family now. You're my son." Or like Rouge adopted me, but I'm her brother, because she was like, we're kind of, she was like, I think of you as like, I don't need to like teach you the things. I want you to be in my family.
Right.
So like she's part of my family. I'm part of her house. and then I have my own family, which is Felix and Clark, and I have a kid Dixon, and it just keeps going.
So it really is just build your own family.
Build your own family. It's moving parts, and it's wonderful. That's how I've found my chosen family. Like
Right.
most of my close friends are all drag performers now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you found your people.
I found my people, and I didn't even know I was looking for them at the time.
I love the idea of build your own family. Like that says it all right there. Like,
and like that's such a, like, it's a very like queer experience for a lot of people. Like
right.
recognizing that, like, especially because like lots of queer people, their families aren't supportive. So you kind of have to like accept that family isn't really a good family for you.
Yeah.
You need to find those resources and support elsewhere.
And you can find it.
And like that's, and especially through drag, which is like such a tight-knit community.
Yeah, very much so.
There's just such a sense of community there that it's, it's overwhelming. It's powerful.
Right.
Yeah. And chosen family is just so important for anyone, like straight people, anyone.
And you can always add to it.
Yeah.
Like is there ever, this is a weird question, but is anyone ever kicked out of a family?
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah.
Yep. Been disowned, unadopted.
Have you?
Out of the family. Not me.
Oh,
No.
you haven't?
No, I'm perfect.
Yeah.
No, Felix and Clark are stuck with me. They know that.
But what are some, I guess, faux pas or things that could get you
kicked out
or maybe looked down upon?
Definitely like repeatedly being problematic after someone has talked to you about it. Like,
right.
Like a white performer saying words in a song that do not belong to them. Lots of different things that like, being super sexist or like any of those
not
things.
respectful of
other people and other identities and things like that. Sometimes you can make a career out of it. Sometimes it just makes you no friends.
Right.
It depends, who your audience is really.
Interesting. Okay. Got you.
Yeah, so there's that stuff, and also just like, breakups happen, or people move away, or somebody fucks someone over, someone steals something.
Yeah.
People are people. It's all the same thing.
I guess it would be the same with any family or group of friends.
Yeah.
It would be the same type of thing.
Yeah. It's people drift away,
Yeah.
Those things happen, but once you like, I know I have a solid family. Like
that's so
this
fantastic.
is like this is us. This is we look out for each other 100%.
Yeah.
If you need someone, if you need a call, if you need a dinner, like anything.
Yeah.
They're there. So like
Wow.
that's been like a mainstay for me for years now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I fucking love it when people find their place.
Mhm.
Like, because and maybe you can identify with this, but was there a sense when you were, in the straight phase, where you knew like you probably just felt like I'm not with my community.
Yeah. It was very much just like trying to fit in all the time.
Yeah.
And then once you find your people, you're like, I don't have to fit in. I can just be myself and people like it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what?
And isn't that like such a good feeling?
Yeah.
Like to just be, and you're
And
not
there's some people who
curating
never find
yourself.
that.
You're just you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you don't have to edit yourself. Whereas like, I had to be this certain way, or I had to like wear these certain things, or else like people were going to question me, or like I wouldn't, I wouldn't fit in, basically.
Did you, in this whole life journey of kind of getting to this point and discovering drag and discovering that you're trans, did you lose friends?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, no one was outright like, fuck you, you're trans. But it was very much like I don't understand you. I don't know how to be around you.
Right.
And also just people that are like afraid of messing up, I feel like it's kind of pushed away from me. Whereas like
they feel too on guard, maybe.
Yeah, they were like, I feel like I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth, so I just don't want to be around you. And you're like, but like you have to learn those things.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna learn if you just avoid.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. So I've lost friends, but I've also there's some people who just don't give a shit. They're like, you are you. I've always loved you. You know, I'm always gonna be here. I might fuck up. I might say something wrong, but like I trust you to let me know.
Yeah.
And that's that's all it is. Like Steph. Like I've known Steph for like 10 years now.
Right.
And she is a super straight lady. And like possibly the
Super
straightest.
straight.
Yeah, like super straight. And but yeah, she was like when she saw that I changed my name on Facebook, she messaged me and was like, hey, like, I saw this, like, do you want me to use that name for you? Like, what does that mean? Like, is there anything else to it? And yeah, we had a conversation, and like,
yeah, especially with the they pronouns.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one. I totally respect it, but I do think that it can be tricky because of the way that we are taught to speak as people who grow up heteronormative.
Yeah.
Like
it was even hard for
it's
me.
tricky.
Until I started using they pronouns, I was like, that's dumb. I don't understand. Why would you do that? And then I was like, actually, that's the only thing that fits right now.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a Regina George moment.
Wait. I think it's interesting. Last season of Big Brother, there was a non-binary person, and it was interesting how the host guests they just learned. Like they just, after saying it for so long, it just became natural.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes when you're with maybe someone you know who all of a sudden it's they, it's like you have to be like, and they, like you have to kind of stop yourself and think about it.
Yeah.
But I think also too, if you do mess up, just correct yourself in the moment.
That's it.
And because I
Don't
think
make a big deal out of it.
some people might mess up and say she or something.
Yeah.
And then not correct it and then later go, shit, fucking said the wrong thing. But if you say it in the moment, it gets you in the habit of saying it. So you can very well just go, she, I'm sorry, I mean they.
Yeah.
Like, is that's
it.
That's
all
what
you
it
have
is.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Some people take it too far, feeling bad that they messed up, and it just makes everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
So
like,
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, I'm such a bad person. I can't believe I did that. Like, oh, I'm so awful. And you're just like, it's not about you.
Yeah. And I think if you're truly friends with somebody, like, there's no, like, you know, period of time that you have to, like, it's continuous.
Exactly. It's a journey. Like, I know when I changed my pronouns, I had trouble using them. Like,
oh, did you really?
Yeah, like, I still said she about myself, and and then I would be like, fuck. I mean this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you get used to it. It's been, you know, it was 20 years that I used this, or 23 or 4 years that I used those pronouns,
right?
And like that name, and it took a long time, and it would take anybody time to learn anything new like that.
100%.
Yeah, except for like, I mean, now, like, I have a group of friends that are like very trans and non-binary. Like, most of us are somewhere in that field, and so like we tend to learn a little faster, but that's because we're constantly around.
You're around it. You're saying it all the time.
Yeah, so like we have a better turnaround now. But like,
yeah,
anyone else, like my mom, like even she's trying to use it, and which is like a big deal for me. And she'll correct herself. And that's all it is. And like, it used to be like, oh, I can't do this. Like, this is too hard, blah, blah, blah. But now she's just like, sure, sorry, this. I'm like, cool, that's all I want.
Exactly. Because as long as you're trying.
Yeah. I was like, you can mess up 100 times. If you correct yourself, I don't care.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like, everyone's different, obviously. Like, that's my opinion. But, that's my, I don't know.
Wow.
And yeah, some people just, they get like they freak themselves out.
Yeah, there's no need to make this a bigger deal than you know what it is. And so where are you in life currently? So you're separated now, living without your partner.
Yes.
Are you guys on good terms?
No.
Oh,
yeah, no, we don't talk much. We still work together sometimes in like the drag scene, but it was a tough one. It was a tough one, yeah. And
of course it would.
Lots of hard feelings and mistakes were made, and we just haven't really come back from that at this point anyway. I think maybe somewhere in the future, but
right
now we need time.
Yeah, you gotta live some life apart.
Exactly, yeah. And like, we were so ingrained in each other's lives that it's kind of picking up the pieces.
And that's the hardest part, I think, with any type of breakup, whether that be husband, wife, you know, friend, like boyfriend, like anything, like the fact that like you have a constant that's all of a sudden
not there anymore,
gone, and you have to kind of refigure yourself out on your own, which is like have you had a lot of like, were you always someone who like always was dating someone, or
yeah
so is this kind of your first like time alone for a while?
I
or-
have a partner.
Oh yeah, I have ding ding.
I'm poly. I've been with them for like 3 years.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
okay. So were you poly with your?
Yes, with my
okay.
partner, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so
yeah,
you...
so it's not quite the same as going like full on bachelor, but
got you.
yeah, but definitely my first time having like my own space in a very long time. I live with a roommate now, and that's like glorious to me. Like not having to share a bedroom, like
Oh yeah,
having someone to be like, you know, no, we have to do the dishes. Like we both live here. We have to do the thing.
Yes.
As opposed to like when you're married and you're just like, it'll get done. Like, we're here all the time. Nobody cares. Like it's just you. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. It's a positive environment, which is a big change for me.
That's fantastic. And you're poly,
And a poly.
just fucking everyone.
Yeah. No.
So when did you figure out that you were poly?
Before I met my partner.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, probably been like 7 years now. But honestly, before that, I was just not a good person to be in a relationship with.
There you go. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it starts.
Yeah, like I think emotionally I have always been poly, and sexually I've probably always been poly, but like relationship wise, I was just not very honest with my partners.
Right.
Because I didn't know how to like broach that. Like,
yeah. Well, because there's
It
also
wasn't
some
normal.
shame, oddly some shame in that as well.
oh, big time. I still don't like really telling people like at work or something like that. Like, you don't really get into it like, oh, my husband's here, but my boyfriend's gonna come pick me up. Then they're like, does your husband know about your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, they're friends.
Well, yeah, and especially if there's a marriage, because I think marriage is one of those things. Like, if someone had an open marriage, that's something that is interesting. The idea of like having to explain that to people, like,
Yeah.
I'm married, but I got a boyfriend too.
Yeah. And then they're like, or maybe you're not happy in your marriage. And you're like, no, like I like my marriage. Like I'm good.
Yeah,
I also like other people. Like,
yeah, yeah. And it's always interesting. Like, so was your partner also poly?
Yeah.
Because sometimes like it's
Yeah,
one
there's one or the
person
other. Yeah.
is.
It happens a lot.
That must be tough to navigate.
Yes, it is. And a lot of the time it doesn't work. But, you know, someone will try and sacrifice for a while and try and do what the other person wants. But, like, somewhere down the road, you either get on the same page or, you know, you should close the book. So,
Or you close the freaking book.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And, like, I don't think we had the same poly style, which was difficult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that made it, you know, there was a lot of bumps in our relationship in terms of poly.
When you say poly style, do you mean like how you communicate?
Yeah, how you communicate, like
Yeah.
what kind of like how many rules you have or like
Right.
what those rules mean.
Which is kind of funny to me because the whole idea of poly is like not having rules and being
That's
able
what
to
people think.
and then
Yeah.
and then it's like no, but like rules are also needed.
So that you know what you can't do or like what's
Exactly.
not okay.
Yeah.
And basically it's just like a limits thing. Like some people
Yeah.
are like straight up like, you know, if you see someone at the bar, you can go home with them and like that's fine, tell me about it tomorrow. Some people are like, you know, if you give me a call before that happens. Other people are like, I don't want you to have sex with someone I don't know. Or, that
Or
you
don't
know.
or don't tell me at all.
Or
don't
yeah,
ask,
and then
don't
there's
tell.
that that other option where it's just like I don't want to know,
Yeah.
which is generally
different.
not a great
Yeah, that
one.
would be because it's like why it's like
because then you find out at some point like
and also why don't you want to know?
exactly like obviously you're not comfortable with what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Because that's the only way I could do it, but then I'm like, nah, I just wouldn't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
like
yeah, like if I can't talk about it, if I can't tell you about this great sex I just had, then why did I even have sex?
Yeah.
Because talk about it.
Because I think too, it's like people think all poly people aren't jealous, but jealousy does
God.
happen.
Jealousy is like an integral part of any relationship. Like you're not gonna find someone who's not jealous.
I know people who claim that they don't get
Claim.
jealous. Claim.
Claim.
That's the important word choice there.
Claim.
But it's true. You're right because it just comes out in a different way.
A different way.
Or they're repressing it big time.
Yeah. And that's just it. Like, I am definitely someone who's, like, very open with my partners in terms of, like, what they want to do, who they can see, whatever.
Right.
Super open about it. I still get jealous, though.
Yeah.
It still
yeah.
happens.
How
Like,
does your jealousy manifest?
annoyance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, getting a little sarcastic. Or
Were you
like,
hanging out with that person earlier? Were you-
Yeah, like,
yeah.
it's like, is that so-and-so?
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
you
I
know,
do that
I'm
too.
here. Like, you can talk to me.
I can do that too.
That side of things, yeah.
Well, how was your date?
Yeah. Yeah, so like that comes up sometimes. It's usually like in conjunction with other things. Like I'm already crabby or like, you know, it's I'm hungover or like whatever. And like that makes the jealousy more heightened instead of
It
it just being like a
would.
normal, like fleeting moment of being like, oh, I wish I could do that. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, then it turns into like there's a problem with you as a person.
Yeah, really though.
Yeah, so
I find the idea of dating in this whole world fascinating because it's a small knit community, so it's kind of a smaller pool to meet people.
Yeah.
But then, like, so do you use apps? Do you meet most people in person? Like, what do you do for dating?
mostly for me, I've been on Tinder, I've been on Plenty of Fish, I've done all that stuff. Never really had any success with it. Like it just and also it's just like a lot of people who don't understand my identity and stuff like that. So like there's a doubled up.
And that's kind of why I asked, because I find dating apps to be so heteronormative.
Yes.
And like it's like just features wise, I imagine it would be a lot tougher.
Yeah, exactly. Like for Tinder, like you can put in what your gender is, but then you have to pick if you show up under boys or if you show up under girls. And you're just like, I'm a boy, but I don't want like cis boys to think that I'm not.
And this is, I just really should just build the dating app, because I think there should be an app that is very brutally honest with perimeters, being like, okay, what are you? What do you want? Check all the boxes that you want to match with, and you will only see people who also like that. It's complementary.
Yeah.
Because I think that's and even like I would say with sexuality, like identity, and also like what you're looking for. Are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking for a hookup? Are you poly? Are you monogamous? Like all these things are the reason online dating sucks.
Yeah.
Because people aren't honest right away. People get let on and then they get pissed off, and no one wants to waste their time on dates, potentially falling for someone
and
that doesn't match
up with you at all.
And that's the main problem. And there needs to be an app that takes everyone into consideration.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And that's the thing, like, that's like, you can have like a gay dating app, or you can have, you know, a lesbian dating app, or like any, like you can have all those things, but like there's so much crossover in the world.
Yeah.
Like so much.
Yeah, 100%.
Why would you, you know, putting that box there is just like, it makes everything so much more difficult. But
Yeah.
like you still have to take into consideration all of those things.
Exactly.
But it shouldn't be like, this is just for cis straight ladies.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, okay, but like, would that cis straight lady date a trans man? You don't know.
And that's just
Like-
it. Yeah, so like if I was doing a dating app, I would make it like, okay, what are you? Okay, I'm a cis woman. But I'm open to this.
Yeah.
These are the types of people I would be willing to date.
Exactly.
And then that way, like, you could show up in there. Other people could show up in there.
Yeah.
It's just such a simple feature that I don't get why more dating apps don't do that.
Okay, Cupid is probably the best one I've seen.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
In terms of like giving
been on that
identity options, and like you can put like, don't let straight people see me, like, which is probably my favorite thing on like any dating app ever.
That must be liberating.
Yeah, it is. You're just like, oh yeah.
Have you ever experienced someone who is straight but clearly confused? Yeah.
In my life, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
People have like come to terms with it later, like down the road,
Right.
or like never do, like just. And, like, I can have all the feelings I want about someone, like, thinking they might be gay or trans or whatever. But unless that person decides that, or, like, tells you that, not decides, but, like, comes out,
Yeah.
those are just assumptions that you have.
Exactly.
Right? And, like, they're based around other societal things that we know. Like,
true.
you might think that a guy is gay because, you know, he has a lisp and he dresses really nice. And you're like, but, like, he could just be, like, a really well put together like straight man, like.
And it's also in like how we react to when these people either finally come out or like, you know, like because like if there's a guy or like a male that you see that you're like, he's totally gay, and then he comes in as gay and you're like, fucking knew it,
obviously. Yeah.
Rather than going, good for him.
Yeah, like
we just have to
great.
change
I'm
how we
glad to hear
react to
that.
that. Like it's like, oh, that's so great that you finally figured that out.
Yeah.
Like why do we have to be this like police
of,
and
like we do, like everyone does
that's
it.
Silly.
And yeah, like even within the queer community we have that, like, you know, like I know like being in the lesbian community for a while there, like coming from like a bi perspective, but then like coming out as a lesbian because I was afraid to tell people that I was bi.
That's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. Lesbians do not like bisexuals. Not all, like obviously not everyone. But like that's a theme in the community. Is like you're a traitor because you're now dating a man and you're a woman. Like Or like you're not bisexual anymore because you're in a straight relationship, which is not a thing. If you're bisexual, you're in a bisexual relationship.
Yes. Oh, that's such a huge
there's so
do
much
you see that
gatekeeping.
changing at all? Just the stigma on bisexuality, like
Yes. Slowly.
yeah, slowly again.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has problems with anything that's not one or the other. Like even my mom, like before I came out, before anything else, she was always like, you know, I support gay people and lesbians, but I don't understand bisexuality. You should just pick one. And you're just like, but that's not how it works.
No.
Like,
No.
and the same with like being non-binary. Like people are like, why don't you want to be a boy or a girl? And you're like, because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's not at all.
Yeah. I need another drink.
Oh my gosh, big one. So okay, we got the ice bucket.
Excellent.
Ooh, and it's keeping it. Oh, this was worth money.
Yay.
Keeping it there.
$20. Jesus.
I know, but I
Did you leave that on there just so you can be like, I paid so much money for this?
because it was at Walmart too. Let's take that off. Let's just take that off. Yeah, no, I got an ice bucket that has a thingy, like a
liner.
This is like very much like a hotel room ice bucket. I like it.
It's very funny because it still looks like a garbage can. You just paid $20 for a tiny garbage can.
I know. I probably could have made one myself. Truly.
Yeah.
But like, I just hate getting up during recording, so I'm like, I'll just bring the booze to us. Oh, drinks. Yeah, make it as strong as you want. You make it as strong as you want.
Let's do vodka shots.
Oh God, no. I am not a shot person at all. I wish I was.
I wish I was.
Have you had a lot of experiences with shots that weren't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
Oh,
but
we
like
didn't even get into drinking.
when I when I started drag,
Yeah.
you know, it was a bar star time. Like I was at the bar like, oh right, this is yours.
Yes.
Like I was at the bar every weekend, if not like through the week also. Always performing, always getting drunk when performing because I was nervous and like
Yeah, that must totally be a thing about like just the stage fright element and like
yeah.
and how a drink can kind of take the edge off a bit.
And like one drink, yes, takes the edge off. 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's
then you're
where-
just a drunk bitch at the bar.
Then it gets tricky. Do you remember, important question that I ask a lot of first time guests, do you remember the first time you ever got drunk and what it was, what that was like?
Yes, I was in grade 7.
Oh my God. You had line. You start young.
I started young. I'm from Dartmouth. I was 13. I was with 2 of my friends. We were hanging out underneath a playground at Hawthorne Elementary School.
Underneath.
Yeah, it was at nighttime.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. We were underneath. I have a picture of it. It's horrible. And,
Oh my goodness.
We were drinking Prince Igor vodka, like Russian standard vodka, which comes in a plastic bottle.
Yep.
And it was
I
like
know
a
what
quart,
you're
and it cost like $15 at the time. And we were just, no mix, just passing a bottle of fucking vodka around, chugging it. And the 3, like, there was 3 of us who were all like small girls at the time. Like, so we just got fucking schmammered. It was awful. I mean, it was great. I had a great time, but then we were very sick and very hungover.
I still get sick when I drink
Yeah.
too much. Ugh.
I don't as much anymore. I had a period of time where I was changing mental health medications.
Oh, yeah.
Tolerance went out the window.
Really?
Oh my God. Like I went from like being able to drink like comfortably like a pint and not like get sick or anything like that to being able to have like 2 or 3 shots and like projectile vomiting for like a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it was awful. And, yeah, luckily I'm not on that medication anymore, so I can drink as much as I want.
Amazing. As long as you're good and
Yeah.
you don't need.
No, I
like-
definitely don't. I don't drink nearly as much as I did in my youth.
Gosh.
If I did, I would be dead right now, probably.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
You gotta slow down sometime.
You really, and it feels good to slow down.
It does.
I think.
Eventually, you're like proud of yourself. At first, you miss it, and then you're like, I'm doing good.
I'm doing damn good.
Yeah.
And you save
I'm like,
money that
I
way.
save so much money.
Right?
That was like the first indication that I wasn't drinking as much. I was like, it's payday tomorrow, and I still have money.
Yeah. Yeah. What is this world?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And like drinking when performing. Have you ever performed just hammered? Absolutely hammered?
I haven't.
Good,
I will
yeah.
like that's. I have had people in my show who have.
Oh.
I've had people that I've had to be like, you are not going on.
Oh, really?
Straight up, like, I'm going to call you a cab. You're going to go downstairs and go home, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, but you're not performing. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And, you know, sometimes it's like they were having a bad day and they had too many drinks. And sometimes it's a pattern of behavior. And then you have to sit them down and be like, I can't have you in my shows if you're going to show up like this.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you can't be responsible with yourself, I can't have you on stage. I can't promote you.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a fucking mess. Like,
Right. And you're running the ship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you can't be.
Yeah,
you-
I can't be.
Yeah.
I can't be hammered. No.
Yeah. You got to keep it together.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if a host is hammered, like, you know, the show's going downhill at some point.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not going to be good.
yeah. So, yeah. And like, I always drank when I hosted for a long time. Not like a lot, but like definitely like a few beers throughout the night.
Right.
Just to like keep it like the nerves off, because hosting is terrifying sometimes,
Yeah, I can imagine.
especially if you're by yourself. Co-hosting is great. Love
Oh,
it. Hosting
it
by
would be
yourself,
so fun.
terrifying.
Oh, yeah, I know. I can imagine.
But now I can host sober and I perform sober.
Hell
Not all
yeah.
the time, but like most of the time I don't drink until after the show.
And then that's when you can really
Yeah, and then I can dance and I can take my mustache off.
rip it off.
Yeah, because there's nothing like taking a big gulp and there's mustache water like in here.
I always say, like, especially with makeup and stuff,
And makeup, yeah.
the best feeling, my two favorite times of the day is when I'm putting on my makeup and when I'm taking it off. Because I love the putting on makeup process because it's very therapeutic for me,
yeah.
I think. Oh, I'm glad you agree.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I feel like I'm alone in this a lot of the time. But I
No,
fucking
people get
love it. It's meditative for me.
Yeah, and some people get so stressed out when they're doing their makeup, and I'm just like, well, you know, just chill. Like, appreciate the process. Like,
Yeah.
you're making art. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah. When people are stressed getting ready, it
it
stresses,
stresses me out. I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I have people over at my house. Like, we have air conditioning at my house.
Oh, you were saying
Bless,
very jealous.
Yeah, so everyone was at my house all pride. I was like, just come over. Like, even if I'm not home, come over, do your face, because it'll melt in your
Yeah.
house. And but if you're gonna come over while I'm getting ready, if you freak out, you're banned to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, I am not dealing with it. No drama here.
You don't need the stress.
Yeah. So
Do you have any tips on how to make it the makeup fucking stay on the face last long?
lots of powder.
Yeah.
Keep setting powder with you anywhere you go. Primer for most people, at least for stage makeup, is pretty important. Get a good foundation that actually goes with your skin. Like, don't get one that's kind of oily if you have oily skin. Like,
Right.
Don't get a drying one if you have lots of dry skin. Like I use a matte product.
Right.
I wouldn't suggest that for someone who has really dry skin, because
Of course.
you see all the flakes. And you see
It's kind of like go with what you know works. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should try a new foundation
Yeah.
before an event.
exactly right before. No, definitely not.
That's a bad
Don't
choice.
try any makeup right before the event. Like, I know people that'll like not decide what kind of face they want, and they'll do it like 2 hours before the show, and then they're like, "Oh fuck, I hate this," and you're like, "What are you gonna do now?" Like, you gotta go
make
on
a-
stage. Like,
That's madness. That would
Yeah.
be so stressful.
and I know lots of people do it because people don't practice. That's, you know, it's in our nature to like procrastinate.
And you probably see a lot of diva moments.
Oh yes, yeah. I have diva moments.
Ooh, what's your deviaest moment that you've had? Have you ever had a freak out over something?
Minor.
Yeah. That other people are like, why
Why are you freaking out?
My mustache isn't clean.
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be around the mustache.
My mustache is very sensitive time. Right? One time I was in one of Rouge's shows. I don't remember which one, but I forgot the glue that I used for my mustache to glue
Ooh,
it on.
do you use lash glue?
No, I used to use spirit gum.
Oh.
But now I use Prozaid, which is a medical grade adhesive.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No
Works way
fucking
better.
around.
It's kind of falling off right now, but that was because I'm very sweaty.
Yeah.
And
How you doing, by the way? Are we?
Oh
Are
yeah,
you good?
no, I'm not
Oh,
terrible.
good.
Like, not terrible at all. I
Good,
just
good.
I don't think I think I was sweaty when I put it on.
Oh, so it didn't.
yeah,
it didn't
set properly.
connect. Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot my glue, and I was pretty much crying backstage. They were like, just go on without a mustache, and I was like, I'm Rhett Slutler. I didn't have a mustache.
I understand that to an insane degree, though.
Yeah.
Because when you're so used to your process,
It's like I look naked.
yeah, yeah, and especially where it's like something so defining,
Yeah,
and it's like
like-
part of your character,
Exactly.
like yeah, that would totally throw me off too. So did you actually do it with a mustache?
No, I ended up using spray adhesive, which didn't work at all. And my mustache was falling off like the whole number. And then eventually, I think I was doing Escapes, like the Pina Colada song. So I was making a pina colada at the end, and I just like put my mustache in it and made someone drink it.
Oh my god, I was thinking about that the other day, about the idea of picking songs for drag and what makes a good drag song. And you know what I kind of landed on? And tell me if I'm wrong on this, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I just know with me, like if I ever did hyper drag, I would want to pick a song that had kind of a story in it, or like visuals.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, like, this is so dumb, but I was thinking of like Waking Up in Vegas by Katy Perry.
Yep.
Like where it's like talking about Vegas and
Yeah,
like,
it's like storyline.
yeah. And I'm like, would you agree with that? Like, you kind of have to tell a story through your performance. Like, I'm
You
not
do.
a huge fan of drag performers that just
It's
kind of
just
dance.
a lip sync dance.
Yeah, I need some acting,
Yeah.
some
storytelling,
storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Right.
Definitely you need to tell a story with your drag.
Yeah.
Whatever that story is. Isn't like the song doesn't have to be a story. Like
That's
that
true.
has a specific anything.
Right.
But it's what you make it.
Right.
Like I know people who do like mixes of lots of things, or
Mega mix.
yeah, or like I do like straight up lip syncs, but it's very like character based. Right, so like you are gonna be Ron Burgundy, but you're gonna sing "Sex Bomb," and like, so you're doing all the mannerisms and stuff. But like, it's not necessarily like Ron Burgundy goes to the news station and then he meets a girl. And, like it's not
It's
quite
a
like that.
story, but it might not be the standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Storyboard kind of thing.
Right.
There's just so many kinds of drag that it's just like you can do anything
You
as
truly
long
can
as
do
it's
anything.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Like that's the number one rule. It should be entertaining.
And you should look like you're having fun.
And look like you're having
But-
fun. Unless you're a sad goth queen. Like, that's cool. Like, or king.
Have you ever had something happen in your life where you really, something in your personal life that just really hit you hard that you had to then go perform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of the co-founders of Genderfuck, which is a locally produced show. And it's more of a, I find it's more like political and like hard-hitting show, a lot more like gender feels and like emotional numbers and things like that. And that's usually where I bring those numbers, where it's like, you know, something you need to express,
Right.
something that's like painful or hard, and you need that outlet.
Yeah.
I find like that's kind of why we created Genderfuck, was because there wasn't a lot of space for that. You know, it's kind of a downer to have in the middle of like a high energy show. You know, throw in like a thing about dysphoria. You're like,
Right.
You know,
But these are real issues people
yeah,
experience, especially people in that.
especially in our community. Like there should be space for that.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of like therapy.
It is. It honestly is. And it has been for me for a long time. Even doing Rhett, like, silly, weird shit. Like, that is a therapy for me. Because that's, you know, being weird and gross. And, like,
Yeah. And it's an expression.
Exactly. And yeah, it's all art, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever, like, dress up as Rhett just, like,
Out
even
and
when you
about?
don't have a show?
No, mostly because, it's a lot of work.
Of the get ready time?
Yeah, a lot of get ready time, and I do it like I'll do it for like going to someone else's show, like going to the bar, but like not performing, but like going to see someone. Like I'll dress up in drag
Because you're kind of in that community.
exactly. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
A lot of the time, people don't recognize me out of drag. Like straight up, like people I know, I'll pass them on the street. I'm like, hey, and they're like,
Huh?
what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's Rhett, and they're like, Rhett. Or I'll start laughing. That's usually when people can recognize
You
me.
do have a very distinct
I have
laugh.
a very distinct laugh,
Yeah.
and it's very loud over the speakers, so like people know it very well. Yeah, so like I'll be walking down the street not in drag, and I'll laugh, and like someone will be up the street, and they're like, "Is that Rhett?" I'm like,
Oh my gosh, so funny.
"Yeah." So yeah, so usually if I'm going out to a show or something like that, I'll dress up, but like day to day, no, because it's a character for me,
Yeah.
right?
It's performative.
Yeah, and like when I first started, it wasn't as performative. It was very much like a gender expression for me. So like I learned how to do contouring, and then I would like contour through the day. Like it'd be regular makeup for me. But now it's like heavy stage makeup and like this specific wig and like these giant eyebrows, and like that's very much a character.
Yes, it's exaggerated.
Yeah, but like when I do my makeup, like regular day, like
Yeah.
if I wear makeup,
I was gonna say, do you tend to wear it like
I would
when
say
you're just...
like I wear it like 25% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Like I used to be even closer to like 50,
right?
but now I'm lazy. Mostly it's just lazy. I love wearing makeup. It's very affirming. Like I love it. It makes you look better. I've always had bad skin, so it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it just makes you feel better sometimes.
Ding ding. I mean, I fucking love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if I had the time and the patience, absolutely I would do it every day. But
Yeah.
So I started like contouring and stuff like that. But now, yeah, it's become this like fully fledged like persona that's different from who I am.
Yeah.
So,
But do you think in some ways it's an extension?
yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like it's...
There's stuff that I can say as Rhett that I want to say as Charlie, but I can't.
But when you're right, you can
But I'm
fucking
Rhett,
say
I'm
it.
like, I can say where the fuck I want.
Oh, I love
you gave
that.
me the mic. You're here to listen to me.
Have you ever told anyone off
Oh, absolutely.
in drag
Yeah.
because you just felt more powerful?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like reverse heckling sometimes.
Ooh,
Like,
reverse heckling.
yeah, it's
so
a-
getting mad at the audience.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of my favorite thing to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. So what, like, is this people who are being dickish in the crowd, or
Definitely that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like friends that I know. And I like, call them out from like they'll be at the back, and I'm like, "Why are you sitting at the back? Like you don't have any money? Like you can't tip us?"
I love it. I love the sass.
Yeah, like stuff like that, or like you know, someone tries new makeup, and I'm like, "Did your mother paint that for you?" Like, you know, it's always something. Or like people who are being an asshole. It's like, "Hey, there's a show going on here.
Yeah.
Would you like to join us?" Like,
Yeah, I actually think that's a huge thing too, because that's something people get nervous about, and then, but if you are in that role,
Yeah.
like it would make you more likely to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it helps. Like,
Yeah.
as much as like people don't like being rude and we're Canadian, whatever, like if someone's being an asshole at the back of the bar, tell them.
Tell them.
Yeah. Call them out, make everybody look at them, and then they're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, because
Unless they're
that's
super drunk, and then you can get them kicked out.
That's a huge thing. I have a lot of comedians. I go to a lot of comedy shows.
Yes.
It's very similar in comedy shows too, where people are talking through the sets, and it's just like the disrespect.
Yeah.
And I'm usually sitting at the back with the comics because I'm friends with them. And I recently just decided to go over to a table and tell them to shut the fuck up. And it was very empowering.
Yeah.
And actually the whole night I was very amped up on that energy because I was just like, motherfucker, like I swear to God, these are my friends. Do not talk during their sets.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to just start doing that from now on at
You should.
shows. I'm just going to be like an unofficial bouncer and tell people to stop being dicks.
Anytime that I'm in the audience at a show, I'm the one who's turning around being like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'll meet you outside.
What do you think about going on your phone or texting during?
Don't like it. Not during a number. Check. Like, people will take videos, pictures. That's cool. If you're sitting there in the front row fucking texting.
Like having a text conversation.
Exactly.
It's one thing if you
It's
take
one
a
thing, like,
video
check
and
your phone.
post
Oh, okay,
it.
yeah.
Like you take a Snapchat and you post it and you just write a quick caption per son. Like that's fine, I think.
Yeah.
But don't be having full blown conversations.
Yeah, like if you,
Yeah.
it's like that's the thing. I think like as a society, we like texting is like second nature now. It's just like everyone just does it all the time. But it should be treated like in a show situation. It should be treated like a phone call.
Yeah.
Would you sit there on the phone while someone's performing?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. Like go
Yeah.
outside, do your thing.
Seriously though.
Like-
no, you're right.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's so ingrained to just, you know, be constantly in contact with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I call people out. Yeah, you have to, otherwise they don't learn.
I love that. I love that. I definitely want to go to a show now and just be on my total good behavior.
Absolutely. I will call you out, even if you're not doing anything.
Okay, call me out all you want.
Yeah.
I need to get into this, like, the mode of a performer.
Yes.
And be able to get up there. What about, like, confidence? Because obviously you've developed a confidence over this, like, whole journey.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're still, like, not that confident about that you're working on in terms of drag? Like,
In terms of drag, definitely. Dancing is always tough for me. Learning choreography is terrifying.
yeah, I can imagine.
Like, I do mostly solo, right? For like most of my performances are solo performances.
Yeah.
So then when I get matched up with like a group or like a partner, and then I'm like, oh my god, what if I fuck up? And I just get so embarrassed, right? And you're just your own worst enemy at that point. So like that's definitely like my downfall is like learning like specific choreography with another person.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something I'm working on though. Like I did 2 group numbers over Pride.
Oh, good.
Yeah, which is wonderful, and like they went really well.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I think too, I'm thinking a lot about like body image issues and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is obviously something you must have experienced at some point. And when you're not feeling right in your body, like comfortable in your body, doing something like dancing or dressing up in a costume. Like, or getting on a stage, like...
Or taking your clothes off on stage.
Yeah!
Like burlesquers, or... I mean, drag kings take their clothes off all the time. That's what we do.
Like,
you forget your lyrics, so you take your clothes off. But
and, like, you gotta do it, because that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then you're, like...
You're in your head sometimes.
You have these body image issues. So is there any tips you have in dealing with that? Or, like, maybe...
Listen to the people that are complimenting you.
Yeah.
Right? Take that seriously. Because people brush that off. You know, they're like, oh, like, no, I'm not. Or like, blah, blah. Say thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's so important.
And just being like, thank you. Like, thank you for giving me that compliment.
I've been making an effort to stop myself from being self-deprecating when people compliment me and just go, thank you. Yeah. Like, it's a hard thing to do, but once you start doing it, it feels really good.
It does feel good because you're like, even if you don't think you look good, they are appreciating you. Like, they see that in you. And like, that's wonderful. You should take that in. You should absorb that. Yeah. And the more times you do that, the more confident you get because you start seeing those things if you start accepting those compliments. Yeah. And also just like rehearsing is a big, like, a lot of people don't rehearse enough. So then they get on stage and they're like, oh, I didn't see my body this way, or I didn't see the way it moved when I did this until I was on stage, and then I panicked. And you're like, especially like burlesque, like taking your top off, like taking your bra off, or like shaking your belly or whatever. Like, you don't, if you're not looking in a mirror when you're doing those things.
And that's why they have mirrors at dance studios.
Exactly. Yeah. Then, you know, all of a sudden you're looking down because you're taking your bra off and you're like, oh my God, everything is jiggling. And you weren't ready for that. I mean, that's beautiful. I love it. That's what I do. Yeah. Like, I don't hide anything. But, you know, that can be a big
eye-opener
for people. And you can see it on their faces sometimes, right? In a number. So yeah, just, you know, rehearse, get comfortable with what you're wearing. Like, make sure you buy things that fit.
Oh my God, that's like such an important thing.
Yeah, like that was something that I really, really had to learn when I started drag, because, you know, you squeeze yourself into things. You're like, oh, I want to be that, you know, size 7. Like, I want to fit into those clothes. And we're like, but it doesn't make you feel good.
No.
You're not comfortable. It doesn't fit right. Like, it doesn't look good. And
going that couple size ups, like, will
it makes a huge
life-changing.
Difference. Yeah, 100%. It makes a huge difference. And people don't realize that a lot of the time. Yeah. They think, like, if it's bigger, then it's going to be uglier.
Yeah.
And, like, that is such a, like, societal thing. And it's like, ugh, yeah.
I heard of a yoga studio, I think it's in, like, LA or somewhere, that is mirrorless. So they don't have any mirrors. Because they want people to be more comfortable in their body and not be looking so much, like, especially with yoga, where I think it's definitely like, different with dance, where you need to see what you're doing wrong, and because you need to get better. But like with yoga, it's like I really like that idea, because anytime I've done a yoga class, I've always just felt so out of place. I'm like, I look at the other people, I'm like, this is not what I look like. What am I doing? I'm so awkward. Yeah. And so I find that concept interesting. Just the idea of like not putting mirrors in like a workout.
Yeah, definitely. And like that can be helpful as well, with like getting over like being obsessed with, you know, the self-deprecation and stuff like that. But then there's some people that like, they're not quite self-deprecating, but they don't have the confidence. Yeah. Like they don't see it in themselves. Right. And I think that's when, you know, being your own fan club comes in, right? Like if you want fans, you need to be about yourself. Like,
you need to be a fan of yourself.
You need to be a fan of yourself. Like, you need to put out why you're great. Like, you need to put out, like, these are my talents, and like, or like call out your shortcomings, because you don't want other people to point them out. To say it about yourself. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of always why I've always loved self-deprecating humor, because it is sort of a form of control in a way.
Yeah. And like, obviously, like, you can take anything too far, right? Yeah. If that's all you do is self-deprecate and it's not funny anymore. Like,
True that. And like that's I find body confidence and just confidence in general and all that and self-love, like it's just I never thought it would be such a struggle.
And that's another thing, actually, now I think about it. Go to other shows. Go to other people's shows.
Yeah.
Especially if you're drag and burlesque.
Yeah.
Go see those confident people. Like, go see people who are bigger, like myself, or like any of my other like drag king friends or burlesque friends that are, you know, bigger or are a person of color or like anything anything that you can be uncomfortable about. You're gonna see that on stage, right? And you see, you know, someone, you know, who's not, you know, a size 5 shaking their everything on stage and loving it and feeling confident, and people are giving them money, and like you feel good.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe I can do that. Like,
maybe that can
be
burlesque. So did you say that you teach burlesque?
No.
Are you?
I'm part of a burlesque troupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you learned it.
I learned burlesque just going to shows and things like that. I took a burlesque class from K-Licious at Serpentine Studios.
I have heard of this.
Yes,
I would love
suggest
to
it to
try
everyone.
it.
Like I did it like a couple of years after I started burlesque, and it still like helps so much. Super fun, very body positive, and like just learning to use your body is so important.
Oh, I would love to take a class.
You should do it.
Yeah, because I love the art of the tease. It's probably my favorite thing in the world.
That is, burlesque is, you know, and burlesque is like drag. Like, you can be any kind of burlesque. Like, there's geeky burlesque, you know, there's goth burlesque, there's neo burlesque, you can sing, you can, you know, there's anything. Like, if you can take your clothes off while you're doing it, it's burlesque.
I love that.
Yeah, so.
There's so many things I want to do. I want to do burlesque. I want to do pole dancing.
I would also like to do pole dancing. Yeah, that's on my list.
We should go together.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
Do
they do drop-in classes? Is that a thing?
I think you can. Yeah. It's actually like shockingly not that expensive.
Really?
For like, I think you can
class.
take like, I think they come in like classes of like 8 classes or something like that. And it's not that pricey. And I'm a big fan of doing things with friends because I feel like that's motivating. You're in it together. You motivate each other.
And also you can guilt each other.
You can guilt each other when the person slacks. And it's just tons of fun. Like, I'm just so right now in a phase of like, I just got to find my thing. Like, I don't have the money to do it all, but I want to do something physical that gets me moving. And like, I don't know. It's just tricky.
Well, it was like, I recently did Spinning with the Stars.
Ooh,
have you seen that?
what's this?
It's like Dancing with the Stars, except it's all with circus artists.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I got paired up with someone who's actually my roommate now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they taught me how to do trapeze. Just like, not like the swinging trapeze, but like the, you know, you do flips on and
I love that.
Stand on one leg, whatever. So I did that, and it was a competition for Mental Health Nova Scotia. So we raised a bunch of money for them, and
that's great.
Yeah, we like competed and performed together. But we did like 3 months of circus training before that. And I didn't have to pay for it, which was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was like we didn't get paid to do the show because it's a fundraiser, but we got all this training,
right, and
like studio time and stuff like that, and it was super fun. And I would totally do that again, but it is expensive.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's just to make a choice, whether that be joining a gym or dropping money on a class. Like, it's a big financial choice, and it's really, you're just saying like, I'm committing to making this part of my lifestyle because I want to better myself. And there's something really powerful about that.
Absolutely.
Yet I still can't seem to decide which thing I want to do.
Sometimes you just have to jump in. Like, just pick it, go. Just do it. I maybe hate it. Like, I did an aerial silks class.
Oh, yeah?
I struggled through it.
Gosh.
Like, it was the worst thing I think I've ever done.
That would be terrifying.
Lots of people love it. It's great. It's a wonderful sport. I am very bad at it.
Yeah.
Very bad.
It sucks that, like, I wonder if it's like, if you sign up for something like that, if you realize you suck like 2 classes in, if you can get a refund.
Maybe, but then they're just like, no, everyone's bad when you start.
Yeah, you gotta
like,
keep going.
I'm sure I would have gotten better if I did like more classes, but fuck, it was like, I don't think I would ever do it again. So when we got signed up to do the circus thing, they were like, oh, like, do you want to learn this or this? I was like, absolutely no, aerial silks. I will learn anything except for that. Like,
amazing.
You cannot get me back up there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's insane. Well, fuck, Rhett, we're gonna wrap it up. But this was so fun. This was such a great conversation. I thank you so much for coming on and shedding some light and insight on all this stuff.
Do what I can.
I do what I can. And also I want to say too, like, I've done live streams in the past, and I wouldn't mind doing a drag live stream sometime where we could do like a little, maybe not like a drag show, but like have a bunch of drag people come over and hang out and drink and talk to the internet. If you're down for that, I'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. Keep me on board. Rouge would totally do that too.
And you know what's the best combination in the world?
And Rouge and I are hilarious together.
I was just thinking Rouge would have to come back.
Yeah.
And maybe get some fucking comedians too, because the mixture of drag and comedy is the best mixture.
I hosted my first comedy show.
Kinky comedy?
Yes.
I was gonna go. And I don't remember why I didn't. Something came up.
It was
and
very
I couldn't
weird.
go.
I loved it.
Yeah?
It was really funny because I don't think any of the comedians were kinky. So it was like
my friend Kirsten Finch was on that
yes.
lineup, actually.
Oh my god, I loved her. She was so funny.
She's so great.
Also, great body.
Yeah.
She got like they got punished basically after their numbers or after their
Hang on. Okay, tell me everything about this. What do you mean they got punished?
So basically there was a dominatrix there. And there was like a bunch of gear set up, like a St. Andrew's cross and like a spanking bench. And they had a bunch of implements. And then we had a wheel. It was like a, like Wheel of Fortune wheel. It had different like pie pieces on it, and one would be like spank, and one would be like electrical play, one would be like strip.
And the comedians got on that?
Yeah, they would have to spin it, and then the dominatrix would do whatever it says.
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh! I didn't know this.
Yeah, they consented to everything before. Like they had, all that stuff, all the safety stuff is done. But yeah, super funny. So like there were some people that like that was their first time ever being spanked, and like,
hilarious.
It was so fucking funny. And then there was me, who was just like a kinky person, like very engulfed in that scene. So
oh my god,
yeah. So I was just like, hee.
Oh,
it was super fun.
That's hilarious. I regret not going now. I remember that.
I'm sure there'll be another one.
I didn't go because I had the opportunity to go on a boat ride. Which is so dumb, but it's just like one of those things like I just had the chance and I was like, oh, I'll just
it's a boat ride.
I'll go on that. Yeah. But holy fuck, I'd like to do more with ya.
Yeah.
We'll figure something
out.
We'll do even just like
the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Maybe you could co-host an episode with Rouge. Because that's another thing I want to do is get guest co-hosts.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So now that you've done an episode, you qualify as a guest co-host now.
Excellent. I'm a professional.
And you have hosting experience. So it's perfect. But thanks so much for coming on. Where can people find you and follow you and keep up to date on what you're doing?
You can find me on Instagram, Rhett Slutler. You can also find me on Facebook, Rhett Slutler. Luckily, none of those things have been taken down, which is super.
Thank God. Good.
And you can also follow the Halifax Drag Kings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, HFX Drag Kings.
Oh, amazing.
On
Perfect.
Instagram.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Those are all my people. Also, Blue Lobster Burlesque.
Ooh, Blue Lobster Burlesque.
Yeah, so that's my burlesque troupe as well.
Amazing.
That's the only one in the Maritimes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any upcoming shows that you want to plug coming up? This will come out next Friday.
Next Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
What do I got coming up? August is usually slow.
Is it, yeah?
September 14th is going to be the emo show.
Ooh. What?
Felix Static and I, we've been planning the show for 3 years. And yeah, it's an all emo show.
So emo music?
Emo music, emo numbers, emo clothing. There's going to be a fucking terrible eyeliner. There's going to be scene kids. It's going to be hilarious.
I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's
September
me
14th.
That's me in junior high school.
Same. Yeah, that's what it was.
That
we were
speaks
trying to like
me.
pick out performers to like ask to be in the show. And we're like, okay, who would have been a emo kid? Like going through going the like right time frame and also like their music now. Like I don't think anyone would see Rhett and be like, you were an emo kid.
And then the drag people will do emo songs.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Oh, I want to hear some My Chemical Romance.
Oh, there will definitely be MCR. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. Oh, yeah. I will make sure to link below to all of this. That sounds unreal. I'm so glad that you came on and that I got to know you better. And I wish you the best of fucking luck because you're killing it. You're truly killing it.
You too.
Yes, we're both killing it.
Yes.
All right. Well, you get to end the episode with a bell ring. Ring that bell.